We're going to look at a practice problem using ASP.NET for a web form to do something similar to what we did in Windows forms, which is a simple converter from US dollars to Canadian dollars. But I'm going to do this now in a web form, so I'm going to do a new project and select an ASP project on the web. Give it some name, unit to ASP converter. I suggest with these practice problems you don't have to submit them or anything, but I suggest that you do try them out yourself, not just watch the videos, but watch the videos, pause, and then recreate these. Actually, going through the steps of programming, writing this, you'll find little errors and you'll learn a lot, and it'll help you prepare to do the assignments also. Okay, so here's my web page. I don't get a default web page by a blank page or anything, so I need to go to new item, and I'm going to add a web form. I'm just going to call it convert. And here's my HTML area. Now, one thing we didn't look before is that I can actually switch in design mode, which is similar to what I had in the forms mode. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to switch to design mode. And so now I'm going to do similar stuff. I have slightly different controls over here, but a lot of the same ones. So I'm going to drag a label up here. I'm going to then drag a text box up here. I'm going to add a convert button up there, and then another label and another text box. I'm going to change some of these things, so this is going to be my US dollars. This is going to be my Canadian dollars. My button is going to say convert. And my text boxes, I will change the names of these again to TXT US dollars, and the other one to TXT Canadian dollars. Because those I will be accessing in the code. Now, I can't move these around quite as easily as I can now. There are different layouts you can do, but web pages have some fixed layouts, and we're not going to do too much as far as the web design and that sort of stuff, at least in this first chapter right now. So I'm just going to leave this here. The only thing I'm going to do is introduce a couple spacing so everything's on the right line. It's sometimes hard with these controls to get a cursor. I'm going to click at the end of this line, get a cursor, and enter a couple blank lines here. Same way, enter a line there and enter a couple blank lines. Then I can move some of these things around to these blank lines a little better. There, so I have my US dollars, and then my Canadian dollars, and then my convert button here. Again, and you can actually look at your source code here and see what HTML is generated here as far as the forms and that sort of stuff. What's nice about this is that it creates all this HTML for you. Again, if you're going to get into HTML a lot, you will want to work with this form mode, or at least a split mode, and be modifying this, especially if you're working with style sheets and all that sort of stuff. But for our work and concentrating more on C# programming, we can focus more on the programming involved with this. So again, I'm going to want to click on the convert button to enter my code. So I'm going to double click on that, and similar to before, it brings up my button one click event. I walked through in the Windows Forms one this code, and I can, assuming I've got the exact same names for my text boxes, I can enter the same code in here as I did in that. So if you want an explanation for this code, you should watch the Windows Forms version of this converter. But I'm going to enter the exact same code. That's one thing that's cool about this, and while we will be doing both looking at both the ASP, the server pages, and the Windows Forms, is that a lot of the code will be the same from one to the other. So now if I run this, it should run in a web page rather than on a Windows form. So my web page is coming up here. So now my web page is up here, and I can enter a value here, hit convert. Now this is going to take longer because again this is running some server side, so it's sending it out to the server, which is they're running a pretend server on this machine, and then displaying the results, and then I get similar results. So now I have this working on a web page also from this same code. So that ends this second part of the convert practice problem.